the acquisition, I'll never forget it. It was the Friday, July 1st at 6:55. We were signing off.
And by the way, we are so spent at that time of the day.
Been there all day.
We've been there since 7 or 8 in the morning. Yeah. We went on air at 11. Mm-hmm. You're part of that whole show the whole day. Then you come over and do radio for 3 hours.
Yes,
at the end of it.
And we had talked about all the different moves and a lot of the inaction, quite frankly. And then all of a sudden it starts leaking out. Oh, Kerfoot's been traded to the Leafs. That's an interesting move. What's up with this guy? And then by the time we get off the air, you find out Tyson Barrie's a part of it. And I think as a result, because of the timing, almost like a news dump trade on a late Friday afternoon, because of the Mitch Marner stuff, like everything was about offer sheet because Aho had signed his that day and what was going to happen with Mitch. And because of who went the other way, Nazem Kadri, and how much of an impact he's had on this market and this team and his history here, I'm not sure the impact that Barrie could have on this team was really analyzed enough, which is shocking for a market like this, where we overanalyze everything. But another factor was Kawhi. Right? Like, as much as you're like, oh, interesting deal. What's up with Kawhi? Is he come? And he flew into town the next week, and he was still hanging over the city. So you had Marner and Kawhi and the euphoria of the Raptors winning and everything that was going on there. And Tyson Barrie is a legit piece, and potentially a real, pivotal part of any success they're going to have this year.
So take that role of offensive defenseman, and, they can get better playing defensively because they're so talented and skilled. And it's when they learn to use their feet to play defense that they get really good. And we watched it in particular a couple years ago when Karlsson had that run in the playoffs in Ottawa. He was playing unbelievable defense because of his feet and his stick and his smarts. They have those components. That's what makes them elite offensively. If they're willing to use those same 3 traits on defense, then they're going to be really good. And so you get a player like a Tyson Barrie. He's in Colorado. Colorado, think about them with Patrick Waugh when he would have started, right? And go, and everything is 100 miles an hour up speed. And if you're willing to do it and learn it, and Kerfoot's saying don't underestimate him defensively because he's better defensively. But if he's not asked to be, then
what do you expect?
It's not your first choice.
Yeah.
I used to laugh. We'd bring young guys in the league, and they'd say, the coaches would sidle up to you and they'd say, you got to help this kid out. He's really not very good defensively. And I'd look and say, he's had the puck his whole life. Teach him.
No kidding.
Like, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
He's had the puck his whole life. And you know what? You know who's a really good example of that is Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner had the puck his whole life, whenever he chose to. But in the last year and a half, all of a sudden now he's killing penalties. He's taken a high interest level in that. He back checks and back pressures as well as any player in the league does. He steals pucks because that's fun. It's playing defense with his offensive talents. Sneaking up behind somebody 100 miles an hour and stealing the puck, you could consider that an offensive ability. Mm-hmm. But it's a defensive play. And, I think a player like Tyson Barrie is 28 years old. And this isn't a player who splashed into the league at 20 and dominated.
Took him a while.
He went through the minor leagues and, he played and he worked his way up. And what was going to get him to the National Hockey League was his elite offensive ability. And the game changed in a nice way at a nice time for him where the commodity of that elite offensive defenseman and the smaller defenseman just blossomed. So now he's in the league. He's fully established as an offensive player and a solid defender who, by the way, with a lot of attention and a willingness, can be way better defensively.
Well, and if you go back and look at the tape and look at the game sheet, when they were in the playoffs and when they went through Calgary, he was playing more minutes than anybody.
And matchup minutes.
He was getting matchup minutes. He was out there against the Goudreau line at times. Mm-hmm. When you play 24 or 25 minutes, you're going to go out there against
You're out there against the bigs.
Everybody. Mm-hmm. So he's used to being a number one guy. Mm-hmm. He's not Hedman, he's not Doughty, he's not one of those guys, but he's probably maybe a right-shotted Morgan Rielly or slightly improved right-shot Jake Gardiner.
It would be interesting to see them play together. And the reason I say that, Mike Keenan, who coached me for 4 years, played his best 2 defensemen together.
Do you think Babcock would ever do it?
But just think of the theory of that. He played Brad McCrimmon with Mark Howe. And I had a long talk about him one time because we were talking, our balance. We played a lot of nights for defensemen, a lot of nights, and we talked about splitting those two up. And you know what? I had an unusual conversation or relationship with Mike because I could have these conversations, and he convinced me that each one of their jobs was easier because of the other one that was on the ice. So, you know, think about Morgan Rielly's job would be way easier if Tyson Barrie could go back and get the puck half the time. And so then he said, then I can play them more. I can play them more because they don't feel like they're carrying a defense pair.
Right.
They don't feel like they're the guy. They don't feel like, okay, I'm the offensive guy. I've got to go every play. It was either McCrimmon or Howe that went. It was either McCrimmon or Howe that defended. I mean, they killed penalties. They played the power play. They were elite defensemen. And I think Brad McCrimmon was as good a partner as there ever was in the NHL, a partner to a superstar. And if you look at the defensemen he played with, from Ray Bourque to Mark Howe to Gary Suter to Chris Pronger to Nick Lidstrom.
Hall of Fame.
How crazy is that list?
Yeah, that's not bad.
How crazy is that list?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting philosophy.
It is interesting because if you
Can you apply it in this era? I don't know. You know, the game's faster now. It was heavier then.
It was heavier then. It might be easier now. It might be more skating, but
not as much battling.
Could you get more minutes out of Morgan Rielly and Tyson Barrie playing them together because each of their jobs was easier and they had the puck more when they were on the ice?
Well, I would use what we've seen in the past to suggest that probably won't happen with Babcock because Rielly and Gardner very rarely played together.
Yeah, but I don't see that as the same. First of all, it's not left shot, right shot, which
right shot, but
really likes.
Right.
And yes, both of them played the right side.
Similar qualities. You know, puck skater. You know,
Tyson Barrie's a better defenseman
moving
than Jake Gardner.
I agree. But if he wouldn't do it with a guy lesser, why would he do it with a guy who's even better? I just
because he might feel that they're capable of doing it, and they're capable of being a 1-1. I think it'd be an interesting thought. See, those are the kind of things that.
The thing is, who's going to play the role of Zaitsev? Can Cody Ceci do that in terms of the minutes? Because when you look at what the Leafs did in the playoffs, he put Muzzin and Zaitsev up against the Bergeron line predominantly, and it opened up Rielly to not be as burdened with who he's going up against and maybe not play as many heavy minutes. If you've got Rielly with Barrie, you've got to play them against everybody. If you're going to be playing them each 23 or 24 minutes a night, they're going to have to get some tougher matchups.
Right.
But who is Muzzin going to play with? Because Muzzin's a safety valve. Muzzin's a guy, you got him in for a full year. I think Babcock's going to embrace that. He's going to utilize him. But who is going to play with him?
It could very well be Cody Ceci.
It might have to be.
It could be.
Unless it's going to be Dermott when he comes back. But these are all question marks that we're going to get answers to in a couple of months. But I do think.
I like the thought of running those two defensemen.
I wouldn't mind seeing it
situationally.
At times. Well, if you're down a goal, in the third period, play him.
For sure.
But that, again, has not been Babcock's MO. He's been a guy that he sticks to a lineup regardless of the scoreboard. He just pumps out the same rotation. And I think I got to believe that was a part of the conversation with the front office in between the confirmation that he was coming back. The end of the season and the confirmation that he's definitely coming back, that no more of this fourth line getting minutes with 5 minutes to go when you're down 2.
I would have been intrigued with the Hainsey conversation.
Like, can we trust you if we bring him back?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what?
Marlowe, I think, as well, although at that number they had to unload him.
Right. That was more of a financial move. And then Hainsey got 2 years, didn't he, in Ottawa?
I think at 2.5.
Good for him.
Yeah, good. Listen.
Good for him.
Take it while you can.
Are you kidding?